SoFi has broken through the top of this descending range, guys, breaking through that $18.45 level and continuing all the way by that $22 level. Now, we're going to continue higher, reaching all-time highs, blowing past that 25 and then furthermore that $28 level, or are we going to see a rejection here and retrace? All right, guys, starting this analysis on the weekly time frame. First things first, we did in the last video say that we would break through this $18 range and continue higher with not a lot stopping us in that range till 22. That is exactly what price did. So definitely looking good. That price is reacting to what we are seeing here, guys. Price is being reactive off the data points that it is giving us. That being said, we see all the way back here, guys, the all-time high is 28.26, and then we see some hard resistance at that $25 level. Double topping, right? One and two. Then we see a sell-off all the way down to a low of around that $4 level, consolidate for a little over 2 years, and then we start building up some energy. So price isn't doing too much, but we find this resistance, energy starts building, then boom, get that leg up all the way to that $18 level, and that is where we form this descending channel, guys. Then we trend all the way down to around that 850 level. See a nice bounce. We go all the way up to testing that high of that range, right, that 1845-ish level. And then from there, guys, we come all the way up. Like we explained, there isn't a lot stopping us between that range of 1845 and 22. See, it's very much an exit pathway, right? Now, no chop going on here, guys. No consolidation. We're either up or down, up or over. That is why we see what we got here going on, guys. We see a little bit of selling pressure at the top with that smaller top wick, which is definitely what you're expected to see. We're hitting a major resistance point, and that is very much expected. So given the more recent price action and how strong buyers have been, it's very likely that we get above that 22, guys, and test that 25. All right, guys, now on the daily, right, we get out of that long-term consolidation range. We come up to that 1845, getting this descending range, right? There's a lot of back and forth. Very, very volatile, right? SoFi is very volatile at this point. We see a lot of chop. Sellers push it down to the bottom of that range. We create that high as buyers push it up to that 1845. See a lot of back and forth volatile swings, either big moves up or drastic moves down. So big buy-ups, big sell-offs. And the level that really stuck out in this formation was this 1480 level. As we covered in past videos, hit that multiple times, went down, try to get close to that, hit off this 1390 level, come back down, and we try to retest right around that range, and we get shut back down. And once we escape this long-term channel, guys, we try to test that exact level of 1480 and we get shut down, but we do not see a violent move down. Instead, we hold tight. So we have violent moves up and down in this whole channel. But then the next time we get shut down from that level, we hold tight and we hold high. We hold above this overall channel, guys. We don't see a drastic move all the way down from that rejection. We hold higher and we kind of just squeeze out. We don't see a volatile move up, squeezing out of that channel. We just see a nice gradual move out of that long-term channel. And then we see price kind of just breeze through that 1390 to 1480 zone, not much holding it back. We chop for a few daily candles between that 1529 and that 1480, but then after that, guys, we're really off all the way to that $18 high, which of course there's going to be some resistance there, as that's the top of this range, and that is the top of a longer term cup and handle. If we're going back to the weekly real quick, guys, we see a cup and handle. So we are one in the top of this resistance range of this, descending wedge, but we're also at the top of a very long-term cup and handle pattern, pretty much forming right when the stock IPO'd. Not quite, but we're talking about a long time ago, guys. So extremely important range. That's why we said, if we can get above that range, nicely get above that 1845, we are looking very nice to that $22 level. And that's exactly what happened, guys. We saw that nice green wide bar out of that range. So definitely a prominent move. We did get some selling pressure when we first tested that. See about two more candles of indecision. Sellers try to push us down. Buyers buy us back up. Then we see buyers peeking through that level, getting slightly above it. And here is the confirmation candle that sticks out like a sore thumb. When you see a candle like that, not really any relative wicks, very strong, wide green body. That means that buyers are in ultimate control. They were in control the entire day, and that's exactly what you want to see when getting out of a major resistance point like that, given that this is the top of this descending wedge and also the top of a very long-term cup and handle. So we break through that, and that leads us to 1, 2, 3, 4 more green days. We wick at that $22 level, but we do hold up relatively nicely, guys, and we're in this extremely narrow ascending formation, right? We were kind of ascending here out of this channel, nothing too volatile or extreme, but then you see volume flush in, guys, and as volume flushes in, volatility does, and we just go boom. all the way up, just like a rocket ship to that $22 level. And it makes sense that we have some selling pressure here as it's an extremely, important range. So what you can expect to see, guys, is sellers try to step in here. It's very expected to see some sort of seller price action within the next day or two, as it's a very major range, possibly try to push us down, hold higher, and then run it back up. If not, guys, we could definitely be seeing just a continued move up, as we've seen a lot of green price action in a row. And furthermore, guys, if we're counting all of these candles, sellers really aren't in the equation. We see one red candle out of 13 candles here, guys. So that shows that buyers have really ramped this thing up, and we are in an extreme buyer market on SoFi. So even if the sellers try to step in here, guys, we are overextended, but I think that we do get that leg back up and to that $25 level, given that there really isn't much holding us back. Just like we predicted last time, guys, right? We said there wasn't much holding us back after that $18 level, and that's exactly what happened. We got that test of 22. And each one of these times, we attempted to break over and got over it, right? Less every time. We got over for multiple weekly candles here, only really closed over one full weekly candle here. And then here, we really don't get a full good close over that, $22 level. The trend was kind of getting weaker each retest, but it's been a long time since then, guys, and buyers have really stepped up all the way from that $852 level to where we're at right now, just like a rocket ship going all the way up. So it's very likely, given that there isn't that much holding us back or any key resistance zones past that $22 level. If we get over there, very likely that we are headed to that $25 level for another retest, seeing if we can get past that. So no need to overanalyze, guys. Daily is looking incredible. This is great price action. Buyers are killing it with this stock. For the buyers, you want to see a nice movement above that 22. Use it as possible support and trend to that 25. And as a seller, this is a very key resistance zone. So even though they couldn't hold that $18 resistance zone, which is the most important one on the stock, you do want to see them try to hold up here, find some resistance, at least push this, halfway of this formation here of more recent times, and try to get the sellers involved. But overall, on the daily time chart, guys, we stand very much bullish as we have in the past. All right, guys, now on the hourly, we see once we get out of that descending range, right, there's a little bit of chop, a little bit of back and forth, getting very, very tight compared to relative price action, right? We're really, really volatile, but we get really tight here, guys, and we hold up as buyers. That's where you kind of see stocks just bleed out of there. See a little bit of chop between that 1390 and 1480, but after that, we go all the way up here. Really nothing holding us back. We see a buyer dominated stair step pattern. So what we are seeing here, guys, is an ascending move up, big move up, smaller retracement, move up, smaller retracement, move up, smaller retracement, and move up, smaller retracement. So given that price action, guys, it's likely that we get a retest of that 22. And from that retest, guys, it's very likely that we'd see a move back up and to that $25 level, continuing the volatility that we've seen in the past few trading days. We are in a narrow range and we continue to ascend. So I think the odds of price really just giving out here, guys, going back to this 18 level, trying to bounce there, it's very unlikely given this recent price nature and how strong SoFi has been. Can we see a pullback? Of course. We could possibly pull back to around this range, hold higher here, staying within that relative formation of that gap up there, and then try to continue higher. Do I think we're going to get a retest of that important 1845? I think it's pretty unlikely here, guys. We've seen very much volume surge in here. We've seen buyers being extremely dominant. I think it's very unlikely we see a pullback all the way down to that 1845 without even trying to break through that $22 level and then trying to test that 25. As every time we've gotten to around this point, guys, we've gotten above, we've cranked through that 22, and then we've tested that $25 level at least once. So I think given this recent price action, guys, we are very likely to see a tap of that 25. Price action doesn't always have to repeat itself, but this is the strongest we have relatively seen SoFi ever. Could argue ever, because it's an IPO range, so it's trying to find its levels here back on the weekly quick, so it surges all the way to that 28, and we hold lower both times. But as far as strength goes, I would argue that we are in the strongest zone that SoFi has ever been in. Very comparative to this range here, getting out of that consolidation range, pretty much a very similar move up. Very similar, but we do see a bit stronger. And the way we've been moving so narrow and so aggressively, guys, we're looking great here on SoFi. There's nothing bearish about the stock. Just watch those resistance levels, watch that 22, watch that clean break, and then watch that retest. and watch that claim of that $25 level. If we do see some chop in here, that would be new price action. If we do end up seeing some extended chop, as stock likes to just blow past this range, just like it did here through that 18 and that 22. As a bear, watch for that rejection and that tap at 1845. If you can move it below this $1845 level, definitely looking good for the sellers in the short term. But as we see here, guys, in current price action, there is nothing bearish about this stock. Beautiful price action. So no need to overanalyze SoFi, guys. It's very obvious what it's doing. It's incredibly strong. It's done exactly what we thought it would do. It's broken out of that 1845 high. There was nothing holding it back to that $22 level, and it continues to be reactive. Definitely a chance at all-time highs. You can't count it out. Seeing this extremely nice price action, guys, is definitely a possibility. Watch those closer resistance zones. Watch for that break of 22 and that test of 25. And watch for a mini pullback, as it's still always in the question, as we are very overextended here. But looking good, guys. We remain bullish. So I got for you guys today. If you want more SoFi videos, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment your price predictions down below in the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Also, let me know any other tickers you would want me to cover. As always, trade smart, and I will see you all in the next one.